Hey everyone, Glenn Flutie here again. As you can tell by the background, we are no longer in South Florida. We're up in the mountains of Tennessee. My wife and I come up here every October just to watch the leaves change. But for the next 3 episodes, we're going to now start getting into casting. The first episode is going to be gripping the rod. The second one will be on the single haul cast, and the third will be the double haul cast. All are important, but I want to start with gripping the rod first. So pay attention because this is going to be very helpful. So when it comes to gripping the rod, what do I mean? When I first started, I did not have a lot of instruction on what to do. So immediately I just gravitated to putting my hand at the base of the cork, right at the top of the reel. So when I would go ahead and try to make my cast, I noticed that it felt like I was just using the tip of the fly rod to make everything work, whether it was going forward or it was going back. This was not allowing me to carry a decent amount of line. It also wasn't allowing my line to fully extend out and load both forward and back. So after trial and error, I decided just to move my hand up to the tip of the cork here, at the base of the rod, at the top of the cork. And what a difference did that make? All of a sudden, as I'm thrusting my rod back, I'm feeling my whole rod flex back. And as I drive forward, I'm feeling everything flex all the way through it. And what does that mean? I'm pushing through my thumb, through the base of the rod. You can actually feel the entire rod pushing through to that cast. That makes all the difference in the world, and that's something that's going to be needed when you go ahead and start this fly fishing career of yours. So one thing that I did do that I'm not advocating that anybody does, when I first started, I did a lot of waiting for bonefish. So I was away from my boat, releasing bonefish, get my hands wet, and I noticed that a lot of times when I would go to throw again, the cork would move in my hand or the rod would turn, and it kept messing up my cast. So again, I'm not advocating you do this. But what I did is I want to show you. I took a sandpaper, a piece of sandpaper, and I sanded a little flat spot right here, right in line with my rod, right at the very base of the rod tip, or the rod right to the cork. Now, that allowed my thumb to fit in a nice little groove. That kept the rod from turning any direction in my hand. Again, not saying you do that. I don't want you to go out and sand your cork on all your rods. This is just what works for me. But the key to this is keeping your hand up at the top of the cork. That will make all the difference in the world on your cast. So very rarely do I tell you do's and don'ts. This is something that you really need to do. So let's go ahead and keep our hand at the top of the cork, and that's going to improve your cast.